Hello, welcome back. In this video, I will be taking you through the open data part of the project. So this corresponds to your Mapathon entry sheet's open data tab. The goal for this part of the project is to find open data that relates to your project in some way. So it can relate to peatlands directly, or it can be kind of off topic, but you'll find a way to tie it in to your overall understanding of the peatland policy landscape in some way. And you'll do that in your presentation section. So first, we need to start looking for data. Dairy Links was kind enough to provide us with this spreadsheet that shows all the different open data sources throughout Europe. So if we want to search through it, let's do Control F and then dot, whatever our country website extension is, IE, and we'll go to data.gov.ie. There's also overall, I think Europa, I think Data Europa, yes. So we will go there as well. So let's see what we have. I'm going to go with environment. And our research format that we want is Shapefile. SHP. We have a few results to choose from, but nothing that I'm finding that I want to use in my personal project. Maybe I'll search more specifically. I'll go back to overall and I'll search floods. That sounds interesting. Flood zones, okay. River flood extents. I'll take flood zone A. Okay, I'll open that in a new tab. And what else? Maybe I'll also search some other natural disaster, landslide. Landslide events, landslide susceptibility. Let's use this one. Okay. Oh, maybe it's not available. Great, it is. So we'll allow that to download. Flood zone A, let's also download that. Right, so let's add these to our sheet. So peatland, or our Mapathon entry sheet, GSI landslide events data is the dataset name. The publisher is Geological Survey Ireland. Link is here. And we will add our other information later. And then for our flood zone A, title, publisher, and link. Great. Okay. So landslide susceptibility mapping. So we'll say that it shows the likelihood of a landslide occurring in a given area. And we want to use it to see if there's any connection between peatlands and landslides. We'll put something similar here, so flood zone A shows areas with a high likelihood of flooding. And we want to use it to see if there's a relationship between peatlands and flooding. And we haven't made any transformations yet, so we'll leave that for now. And just for funsies, let's go through the open EU datasets. So let's go to quick search, and we want formats ESRI shapefiles. So you'll see the shapefile sometimes as SHP, sometimes as ESRI shape. Are there any? Oh, these are all French, so maybe we want to search Ireland or Irish. Search. Okay, we've got railway networks, and it looks like a lot of these are from data.gov.ie, so these would be things that are data sources that would have been available on our previous tab. So I probably won't look too much through these, and let's just work with what we downloaded. So let's pull up our downloads. All right, so let's unzip this, extract, and let's extract this as well. Okay, so let's go down to QGIS now, and we can close what we had open before. Now let's refresh. our downloads. So we have landslide susceptibility here. Landslide susceptibility map Ireland, individual files, extents, and locations. Let's just add all of them. Okay. All right, looks like we have a lot of data there. All right, and then we also had flood zone A. We will add that as well. All right, so it looks like our landslide susceptibility is very large, has a lot of data. Let's try to reduce that a bit. So let's open our attribute table again. Okay, so yes, it has over 1 million features. So let's remove some of these. We can see that there are different bands and different classifications, probably landslide susceptibility level. So let's filter only the high susceptibility. So let's go to this filter and we will say we want band A. Select features. Okay, so we were able to reduce it down to 66,000 features. So as you can see, it's taking a while for this to load. So let's export selected features as their own shapefile. And we will say downloads landslide susceptibility map and say hi. Save. And let's remove this so our computer is happier. Okay, great. All right. Let's put our high risk of landslide here, and let's get rid of whatever information we don't need. So these were our raised bogs, and these are our blanket bogs. So let's go ahead and rename them. So we'll right click, rename layer, and raise box B, and then we will say blanket bogs. And then this doesn't seem to be too relevant to us, so I'm just going to remove it. All right, let's make our bog information from NPWS all the same color. So right click, go to properties, and I'm going to say, we'll make them all a little brown color. Symbology, color, and I'll go with this. Okay, all right, properties, we'll also go for that little brown color, kind of. Okay, and we'll do our blanket bogs as well. Okay, so we have our blanket bogs and we have our Corrine peatlands data, and then we've got our high, and these are also our landslide information, so we'll move those up there as well, and we'll change the colors. So properties, let's make it bright orange as well. All right, so let's move these landslide locations up. And actually, if you look at it, it looks like they mostly occur on peatlands. And if we scroll down as well, yeah. So we could keep one or the other of these two fields. So these are actual landslide locations versus these are just high risk. But either way, whichever one you're focusing on, you can see that they occur a lot of times around peatlands. So this is an example of you find something, you find a connection, and then maybe you want to go back and look for things about landslides instead. So this is like a avenue of research that you might want to pursue. But yes, so now say you've conducted your analysis and maybe we decide on these as our, landslide. We want to not focus on high landslide risk. We want to focus on where landslides occur. But now I'm kind of curious. Let's look at the flood zones. And that appears to be only in Dublin. So we don't really want to look at that anymore. we will remove that there. Okay, so we've narrowed down a bit our map and what we want to visualize. So we'll say we would just want to look at not where is it high landslide risk, but where are landslide occurrences, and here they are. So if we want to add our final map to our presentation, we can convert it into an image. So we go up to Project in the top left corner and go down to Import Export and say Export Map to Image. And I'm just going to say Map Canvas Extent. So if you want to zoom in and change it or not, you can. I'm just going to say Map Canvas Extent. And then save. I'll add it to my downloads. Final map. Save. And here we are. Here's our final map. So we could crop this if we wanted, or if you just want to add it to your presentation as is, you can. Maybe you want to zoom in and do a few different examples. So we could, export another view, super zoomed in on Galway in particular. You can do that now. That is how to export your maps. Last thing to do is to go back and finish our Mapthon entry sheet. What transformations did we make? Well, we got rid of this actually because it wasn't relevant. And for our transformations, if you want to remember, we did right click, high landslide risk, open attribute table, and we filtered the band to only show A. And, if we don't use that layer at all, if we don't make any transformations, if we only use these points, then you don't have to say transformations. And the very last thing we have to do now is, since this open data is Shapefile, we're going to add this information to the Shapefiles tab as well. So we'll copy these and transformations. And now we're done. This is our example project. And at this point, you would go back and you would bring everything together and put it into your presentation and work on that presentation. I will leave that to you all. Good luck, and don't forget, if you do need to reach out, mapthon@insightcenter.org, and we will do our best to get back to you in a timely manner before the hackathon. Thanks for following along.